Here's a practical thing that I woke up with this morning. I've been concerned about some people who have shared with me their desires to move up higher on the path. And this has come about fairly recently, that a couple people are hoarders. So what came to me was, when you reach the age of 50, you should really stop accumulating a lot of stuff. And then from that point on, by the time you're 60, you should start divesting yourself of 60% of what you have. By the time you're 70, get rid of 70% of what you have. By the time you're 80, get rid of 80% of what you've accumulated. By the time you're 90, if you live that long, 90%, etc. So you get the gist. We can become hoarders sometimes because we get attached to things. And the more attached we are to things, it seems like the less we become attached in a divine way to God. So if you're attached to too many things, what happens when you make your transition? You may have to go into samsara, or bardo as the Buddhists call it, I believe, where you're kind of in this quasi state of, through your attachments and your desires, having to deal with all those possessions and things that you haven't let go of. So there's a freeing energy that comes upon you and over you and within you when you let go, right? It's part of forgiveness. So when you forgive, you let go. Well, forgive yourself of all your over-possessions. One person was told a few months ago that 99% of what this person had, he would never, ever use for the rest of his life. 99% of it. And yet, he's attached to it and doesn't want to let these things go. He thinks somehow that he needs all these things. Well, you don't need those things. What you really require is God and light and love and the virtues. There are some things, of course, we require for just living on this earth. You know, taking care of ourselves, food, nourishment, soap, shampoo, towels, and all those things. Yet, what about all the other stuff? Even all the books we've accumulated. After you read a book, do you really need to keep it forever? Are you going to read it again? Do you have time to read it again? I know people that have lots and lots of books. Bookshelves after bookshelf of books. CDs, music CDs. I mean, how much do you really need? How much do you really require? Mona and I have found that by letting go of stuff, we feel better. We feel there's less stuff in our home, and it frees us to do what we have to do because we don't have all that stuff in our home. So I think what the masters are saying today through this is that if we desire to go higher, we can get rid of a lot of the ballast that we have, that we've accumulated. We can't take it with us. If we really are going to use it as a resource for a class we're going to teach, fine. Yet beyond that, give it away, let it go, sell it, you know, in a yard sale or something. I think that we actually have more abundance than we realize, that we could let go of certain things and turn it either into money or by creating the vacuum, draw more abundance to ourselves by letting go. You know, there was recently a story in the paper here, this young couple who had just gotten married, had a fire and lost everything except their 2 dogs and what was on their backs, the clothes on their backs. They lost everything. Imagine that. What if that would have happened to you? How would you feel? Well, probably pretty bad initially. Yet, maybe it would free you from attachments, and maybe you'd be in a different state, realizing the preciousness of life and the sanctity therein of that. And then you're actually very, very free to do things that you truly desire to do or have to do. I think if we look squarely at this dynamic, letting go allows us to move up higher and to kind of be refreshed in a new spiritual energy and awareness and beingness. So let's become, instead of accumulators, let's become revelators, and let's become initiators of light spirals and cycles, and just decide that we're going to deal with what's most important, which is our relationships with one another, with God, and with what we have burning within our breast, our threefold flame, as the greatest resource, the greatest divine possession that we have. God possesses us. We don't really possess God per se, yet God has given us an essence of Him herself as our threefold flame, and that's our greatest possession, our greatest gift of God's eternal essence locked within our hearts. So as we practice this letting go and forgiving, and with a new understanding of how important it is to maybe even prepare for our ascension so that others don't have to deal with everything that we've accumulated, and we can allow that substance to be a blessing for others who can use it, then I think we're freed in a new way. And it may just mean that angels of the sacred fire can serve us a higher type of communion, that we can go to places in spirit where we had never been able to go before because our possessions weighed us down. And we've mastered this energy of, prior hoarding. Not that we're all hoarders, but that I think we in the West especially have a lot. So let's let go of stuff that we don't really require, and let it be a blessing for others who will be very grateful to receive some things that they may actually require and need.